These four cells represent different clinical isolates of the same species of bacteria. Each contains plasmid DNA, but the plasmids in one isolate may not be the same as the plasmids in another isolate. We can purify the plasmid DNA from the isolates and use two procedures, gel electrophoresis and Southern blotting, to compare these plasmids. As a first step, we can use gel electrophoresis to examine the plasmids in their native form. Blue loading buffer is added to an aliquot of the plasmid sample, and the mixture is loaded into wells of a jello-like slab made of a polysaccharide material called agarose. The agarose contains microscopic pores through which the DNA can travel. An electric current draws the negatively charged DNA through the gel towards the positive electrode. The positions of the DNA on the agarose gel indicates the sizes of the plasmids. Smaller pieces of DNA migrate faster than larger pieces through the agarose pores, because larger pieces meet with some resistance. In this example, the plasmids in lane A through D are similar in size. The plasmid in lane C migrates slower than the other and is therefore a little larger. Although the plasmids in A, B and D appears to be the same, we must perform other tests before we can come to this conclusion. Our next step is to add enzymes called restriction enzymes to the plasmids. An example of a restriction enzyme is EcoR1. A restriction enzyme cuts the DNA at a particular recognition sequence. EcoR1 recognizes and cuts the sequence GAA-TTC. If the plasmids in the different tubes are identical in sequence, they should have the same number of EcoR1 recognition sequences. The type of plasmids in this particular sample can be cut in 4 places with EcoR1, producing 4 fragments in different sizes, represented here as different colors. When the fragments are loaded on a gel and electrophoresed, the fragments separate from each other. The slower bands on the gel contains larger fragments and the faster bands contain smaller fragments. The patterns of fragments in lanes A and B appears identical. On the other hand, the patterns of fragments in the lane C and D appears unique. Are the DNA sequences in fragments in lanes A and B the same or nearly so, and is there any similarity between them and any of the fragments in lane C and D? To answer this question, we perform what is called as a Southern blot. An apparatus is set up to transfer the DNA into a gel onto a solid support, such as nitrocellulose paper. The gel is placed on top of the sponge, soaking in an alkaline solution. Nitrocellulose paper is placed on top of the gel, and a stock of paper towel is added on top of the nitrocellulose. The solution is drawn up the stock. The DNA denaturates in the alkaline solution as it is carried by the stock. The DNA stops traveling when it reaches the nitrocellulose. If we could see the DNA on the nitrocellulose paper, it would show the same pattern of DNA bands as existed on the agarose gel. We place the nitrocellulose paper into a plastic bag and add a solution containing a radioactive single-stranded DNA called a probe. In this case, the probe consists of all the fragments from the plasmid A. During an incubation period, the probe anneals to a complementary sequences, forming base pairs with the DNA in some of the bands on the paper. The excess probe is washed off. The only probe that remains on the nitrocellulose paper is the probe that has annealed to a complementary DNA on the paper. After the probe is washed off, the paper is overlaid with X-ray film. The film and nitrocellulose are kept in a dark for a period of time, and then a researcher develops the film. The radioactivity in the probe creates black bands on the X-ray film, which is called an autoradiograph. The autoradiograph provides more evidence that plasmids A and B are the same or very similar. However, plasmid D is unrelated to plasmid A, from which the radioactive probe was derived. Plasmid C has some similarity to plasmid A, but the similar sequences are found on different sized DNA fragments. The autoradiograph gives us more information than the agarose gel on its own.